as soon as you say, well, I cannot have a drink in the weekend because I'm prepping for a competition, and these people start giving you a hard time for that, well, I have bad news for you. I don't think these people were your friends to begin with. Hi guys, in this video I'll be talking about 4 pros and 4 cons of competing in the bikini division. So I obviously really enjoy competing, but I'm gonna start with the cons. Con number 1 is it can create negative body image. I see a few fellow competitors that started having a battle with their bodies, especially in the off season. It can be hard once you see your body looking lean for a competition and then you start gaining weight. Even though you're at a normal weight, it can look like you are not at the best shape, which is all an illusion, but still we can compare ourselves to the very lean physique that you see on stage, so that can be challenging to overcome. I personally don't really struggle with that a lot because my whole life I was the opposite. I wanted to gain weight, and for me it was hard to gain muscle and weight. I don't feel that bad when I'm in the off season because I actually enjoy gaining weight. But if you're a person that struggles with your body weight, or if you may have had some past issues with a negative body image, then maybe you really want to consider before jumping into it. Maybe you should take some time to work a little bit more on your mental health before starting prepping for a competition. That's just my advice. We're all different. You know what's best for you. If you start getting into a rabbit hole, then guess what? You can just give it a break, maybe start competing again. Maybe you don't want to compete again, and that's fine too, but I think that's something you should all be aware of, is that it can create a negative body image if you're not in a good mental state. Con number 2 is that it can create an unhealthy relationship with food. Again, I don't quite have this problem myself because I was just one of these skinny people that has trouble gaining muscle. But regardless if you're a person that's naturally skinny or not, your calories will have to go down during prep. Sometimes they have to go very, very low, and obviously that's temporary. That's just for this stage, so you're not going to stay there for too long. But still, having those calorie restrictions for a short period of time during your prep may lead you to believe that that's how you want to do it for the rest of your life. If you're a person that already had eating disorders or any other unhealthy eating habits, then maybe you want to give it a second thought before jumping into a prep. Maybe you want to get your mind ready first before jumping right into it, because it can make any eating disorders worse. If you're going through a prep and you're cutting calories, you're counting your calories, you're counting your macros, you're seeing the weight drop, you're getting excited, you're seeing your physique getting leaner. So we need to be in a good state of mind to know this is just for the competition. I'm not going to keep doing this for the rest of my life. I don't need to look like this for the rest of my life, and it's okay. It's okay to be at a normal weight. You don't always have to be looking shredded and lean. So yeah, I would make sure that you're in a good state of mind before jumping into a prep and before starting dieting in general. Con number 3 is that it can lead to disappointment. Now that one I tell from experience. I'm a person that I can be a little bit competitive. Whenever I'm in a competition, I may have higher expectations for myself. With bodybuilding, like anything else in life, we're not going to always win. And that can lead to a few disappointments and frustrations like it did to me. There were competitions that I wasn't quite happy with the results and I wasn't quite prepared to deal with that. Again, you also want to make sure that you're in a good state of mind. I think that one is something that you don't need to be prepared at first. That's something you can work on as you progress in your bodybuilding career. That's what I've done. The first shows, it was a little bit harder to deal with frustrations and expectations, but as I kept competing, I learned to deal with it in a better way, in a healthier way. So I think that's something that you don't need to nail up front, but I think that at some point you need to learn to deal with it, to learn to let go of your placing. It's a number. As long as you did your best, it's fine. There are other competitions that's not over. I did see a few competitors that they had such high expectations that they would compete in a few shows and they would just give up. And that's not the way to go. If you're in this for the long run, you have to learn to take not failure, I would say, but you have to learn to not always win. Now I see that my win is when I show up my best on stage. If I don't show up my best on stage, then I think it's a failure. But other than that, even if I don't win, as long as I know I did my best, now I consider that to be a win for me. Con number 4 is it's expensive. I think some people might get into it thinking they are gonna be able to save money, take some shortcuts and not pay for this and not pay for that. But I feel like that can really hurt you on stage. If you're saving money on your hair, saving money on your makeup, you're not going to be showing up your best on stage. And I'm not trying to say that you can't do your own hair, you can't do your own makeup, you can, but you may need to make some investment up front with classes to learn to nail it first. Even if you're not willing to pay the money, maybe you can invest your time on it and just search for videos on YouTube or something like that, but actually make sure that you nail it first. Do a few trials at home. It's still hard to do it by yourself because you don't know the stage lights. So what I did myself, for example, I wanted to do my own makeup because I have a very particular way of makeup that I like. What I did is I hired my favorite makeup artist to teach me a couple classes. She knows the makeup that's used on stage. She knows how it looks on photos under the stage lights. She gave me a list of all the products she used. She walked me through all the steps and I took notes. So now I know all the steps that I need to take. But I think that if you're just trying to save money and not being prepared to do things on your own, then it's not a good idea. You need to make this investment. If you're not ready to make this investment now, that's fine. Maybe in the future you're gonna be able, but I do not suggest jumping into it. If you're not able to spend the money, I wasn't always able to spend this money. So a few years ago, if I could have started competing, maybe I wouldn't, because it wasn't a good idea to spend my money on shows and competitions. So that's my suggestion. I suggest that if you're not in a good place to start competing right now, maybe wait a little bit longer before making this commitment because it's going to be expensive. Now moving to the pros. Pro number 1 is it keeps you motivated. I think that's a great way to keep you on track on your health and on your habits. When I first came across bodybuilding, I wasn't in a good place personally. Bodybuilding really helped me not only with fitness motivation, but just motivation in life in general. Up to this day, I can say that it still happens. It still gives me the motivation to wake up every day and do things better and work on my posing. Work out, diet, of course. Even in my off season, I have a goal. I'm not letting go of my diet, I'm not letting go of my health. I'm still working on all those things in my off season. So bodybuilding to me really keeps me motivated. I know that that happens to many people as well. So yeah, I think competing is a great way to keep yourself motivated. Pro number 2 is that it can improve your confidence. This happened for me as well. It's not only about your appearance, but also the fact that you're challenging yourself and getting better, getting feedback. You can see the improvement in your check-in photos and you can see the improvement in your stage photos. That to me is a confidence booster. I know that I did that and it wasn't easy. Now I ask myself, what else can I do? So I always feel like I can do more after every show. Every show has its challenges and like I say, I don't always win in every show. I don't think anybody does. But after every show, I feel my confidence get higher because if I'm being through this, then I can do more than that. I feel like it's been a great way to work with my confidence. I also feel like the things that people say affect me less because I have a goal in my mind and I'm confident in that goal. So I don't let what people say bother me so much anymore. But I do feel that bodybuilding and competition has the saying of improving your confidence. Pro number 3 is that it gets you to connect with people in the community. I met so many people that are like-minded. It's been so great to be able to know these people, talk to them, hear from their experience. When you're in prep, you're kind of like in the same boat as everybody else. I feel like it's kind of hard to meet people in the bodybuilding community unless you're in a competition or maybe in a gym. People that do bodybuilding as a lifestyle, they don't tend to go out very often, so that's not the type of people that you're gonna meet in a bar, for example. Being in those competitions is a great way to connect with people in the fitness community. I'm so grateful for having found bodybuilding. I don't feel like I'm alone in this journey anymore. When I was just working out for myself, I didn't meet many people that share the same interests. Even people that were going to the gym many times, they didn't quite understand what I wanted with my fitness goals, why I was dieting or why I was doing what I was doing. Now that I'm involved in the bodybuilding community, I feel like I'm understood. There are other people that are going through the exact same thing that I am going through. It gives me a sense of connection. I'm very grateful for all the connections I made through bodybuilding. Pro number 4, this one I think some people will see as a con, but I see it as a pro, is that you learn who your real friends are. When you're prepping for a competition, that's the best way to know who your real friends are. That's the best way to know who actually stays by your side. It's really easy to be friends with a person that can go out whenever you want to go out and can do whatever you feel like doing, but it's only when you're going through something like this that you understand who is actually by your side, who is actually there to support you, even if they don't get much in change, who is there saying nice things to you, giving you words of encouragement. Those are your real friends. Maybe the people that as soon as you say, well, I cannot have a drink in the weekend because I'm prepping for a competition, and these people start giving you a hard time for that, well, I have bad news for you. I don't think these people were your friends to begin with. When you go through something like this, and not only bodybuilding, but a competition or whatever you're getting ready for, that's when you know the people that stay by your side no matter what, no matter if they don't get anything in exchange. That's when you know who your real friends are, who are the people that are always going to be there for you. So that's it for this video. These are a few things that I learned since I started competing in the bikini division. These are things that I find to be a few negatives and positives, and you just have to think for yourself and know if it's worth it or not. Everything in life is going to have negatives and positives. That's just normal. It's up to you to understand if it's worth it for you, if it's the right time. We all have different times. We all have different experiences. That's my experience with competing in the bikini division. So I hope you like this video, and see you next video. Bye!